You probably think of perfectionism as having high standards, maybe even as a strength you have, the reason you get things done well. But deep down, you know it's the reason you're also constantly exhausted, when you can't relax until every detail in the plan is accounted for, when it keeps you from ever starting something in the first place, convinced that you need to work on the plan of attack just a little bit more to be sure. And when things go well, instead of feeling proud, you feel relief, like you barely avoided disaster, and the bar for yourself gets higher, and that accomplishment becomes the baseline. You tell yourself this is just how you're wired, but I know that there's this part of you that wonders, why does doing my best never feel like enough? Why does every success fade so quickly, leaving me right back into that same anxiety again? I want to offer you a possibility that might just change how you see yourself. Because perfectionism isn't just about having high standards. It's a fear response. And when you understand what kind of fear it really is, you start to see that the very thing driving your success might be the thing keeping you away from peace and satisfaction. Perfectionism is the body's way of trying to create safety in environments that once felt unpredictable or unsafe. It's not vanity or your ego, it's protection. At some point, your nervous system learned that being good, performing, over-preparing, being agreeable, being a people pleaser, achieving was how you stayed safe, or loved, or accepted. You might not even remember where you got this behavior. It wasn't directly taught. It was absorbed from a lot of different influences, whether that's from your parents, or school, or social media. Maybe it was in a home where mistakes weren't tolerated. Maybe praise only came when you were exceptional. Maybe love was inconsistent, and the only way to feel that love was to do well. Or maybe you were constantly compared to your peers, or to siblings even. So your body adapted. It learned, if I can just keep everything perfect, I won't get hurt. And even now, maybe even decades later, that body is still trying to keep you safe the only way it knows how. Control. So no, you're not broken for being a perfectionist. You're self-protective. You're someone who's built a brilliant survival strategy that simply outlived its usefulness, and it's keeping you from the things that would really fulfill you. And that's really important to understand, because the moment you realize that perfectionism is a fear response, the shame starts to soften just a little bit. You stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what is my fear trying to protect me from? If what I'm describing is resonating, if you can feel yourself in these patterns, then I want to invite you to explore this deeper with me. You can book a free discovery call to talk about this entire process, about why you are this way, and what it would take to really heal without the pressure of commitment. Feel free to grab a time that works for you and then come right back. Because I'm going to share next why you've had this pattern for so many years, even after desperately trying to fix it. So let's go deeper into what's actually happening inside this pattern. When you experience perfectionism, your nervous system is experiencing like a hypervigilance loop. It's the same loop that activates when your body perceives danger. It's like going into overdrive. And it can be triggered even with emotional danger. The difference is, instead of running or fighting or freezing, you manage the threat through control. You tighten your focus. You overanalyze. You try to predict every outcome. You micromanage yourself, your image, your environment, your plans, your predictions. And here's the twist. Your brain rewards you for it. Each time you overachieve or overprepare or fix something before it's gone wrong, you're hit with a little bit of relief. And that relief feels like safety. It feels like those things that carried out the perfectionism did exactly what you wanted them to do. They kept you safe. It's temporary, but it reinforces the cycle and the loop and the behavior that's got you here in the first place. So now control becomes your coping mechanism. And even when things go smoothly, your body doesn't relax, because safety has become tied to vigilance. You're always scanning for the next flaw, the next mistake, the next potential threat to your self-image. That's why perfectionism feels endless, and it is. It's not just mental, it's physiological. Your system never gets to power down, and it's exhausting. I know, because you and I are very, very similar. And this is why, pulling back from the beginning, perfectionists rarely feel proud of the things that they accomplish. The moment a goal is achieved, your brain doesn't register that as some kind of success. It goes either two ways. It registers we survived, or, well, that was the expectation anyway, so it's not some kind of good thing. That was the bare minimum. So it moves on to the next problem to solve, because safety doesn't get stored in the body. Not with this behavior. This is the real cost of perfectionism. You don't get to experience peace, ever. You're always on the run, and you only get temporary cycles of relief between those cycles of fear. So to lay it out a little clearer, perfectionism isn't about doing things well. It may be on the surface, but that's not what the actual behavior is originating from. It's about preventing the pain that might happen if you don't. It's a preemptive self-defense, which is why it also ends up being the reason we avoid things. Avoid tasks and goals and dreams or even chores. Now, I don't know exactly where this came from for you. I don't know where you heard this messaging. I know a lot of different examples of how it can show up, but it's different for everyone. But here's an example so you can kind of see a parallel. Imagine a young version of you who got scolded for mistakes and never praised unless perfection was reached, or was taught that it's not worth trying unless it ends up being perfect. That part of you learned that the only way to avoid shame or disappointment was to stay ahead of the curve, always. So you became the version of you now who never can let anything slip, and ironically ends up letting everything slip because you can't keep up. Which is why that shame is so heavy, versus perhaps for other people, when they reach cycles of burnout, that shame isn't so loud. It's a 2-for-1. But that young version of you, that's the one rewriting this messaging, these shameful voices 10 times a day. The one lying awake replaying what you said in a meeting, or how you could have done things better. The one whispering, tomorrow will be different, I'll just get it together tomorrow. That's not logic. That's lived experience. Your body still remembers those moments where imperfection felt dangerous. And here's what's really important. Your perfectionism doesn't just protect you from failure, it protects you from feeling failure. So you never build the muscles to handle actual growth. You never feel exposed. You never leave your comfort zone. But you're also never going to feel the sting of not being enough, like you might have once upon a time. So when people tell you to just stop overthinking it, or to just do it, or to embrace imperfection, or to fail your way forward, your system cannot comply, because it's not trying to be perfect. It's trying to be safe. It's trying to be good enough. Perfectionism is fear dressed up as productivity. And when fear runs the show, every move you make is run through the same lens of survival. Will this make me look foolish? Will they still like me? Does this accomplish everything I want? What if I disappoint myself? What if I can't do it? And you may not even recognize these thoughts happening, but I guarantee you they are. The tragedy is that this fear-based perfectionism looks like a high-functioning, well-achieved person. On the outside, you're successful and disciplined and have it together. But inside, you're holding your breath. You're managing your image instead of experiencing life. You're performing control instead of feeling peace, instead of making connections and enjoying your talents and expressing creativity. And this is the part most people never realize until it's too late. Perfectionism doesn't make you safe. It just makes you small. It convinces you to live within the boundaries of certainty, to never risk being fully seen, because control feels safer than vulnerability. But what you crave isn't perfection. It's relief. It's peace. It's being able to breathe. It's the feeling of being allowed to exist and still have your goals and still have your ambitions without having to prove yourself first. Even when you understand all of this logically on paper, the perfectionism doesn't go away. Because the body and the mind don't update at the same speed. They rarely communicate the way they should. Your mind might say, oh, I know I don't have to be perfect. I mean, we're just talking about the chores or just starting. I know I just have to get started. But you still tense when someone criticizes you. You still feel unsafe when you let go of control. You still feel nervous if you put away the to-do list. when you put away the ways to measure yourself and to measure your success. That's why the hardest part of perfectionism isn't the doing, it's the not doing. It's the silence after sending something imperfect, the pause between that effort and feedback, putting yourself out there without knowing what's going to happen. And that gap feels unbearable because that stillness equals vulnerability, a vulnerability we've never sat with before, never been taught to encourage. Your nervous system is addicted to forward motion because stillness is when uncertainty sets in. And that forward motion doesn't have to be productive. It can be doom scrolling and Netflix and worrying and planning and critiquing yourself. That uncertainty feels like exposure, so you keep chasing the next complete thing to quiet that fear. But what you're really chasing is safety, and safety can't be earned through control. It can only be felt through trust. That's why no matter how accomplished you become, the fear will never leave you until you address the relationship between fear and control itself. If you're realizing how deeply this pattern runs, how much of your energy goes into trying to earn a sense of safety that never lasts, this is exactly the kind of work that we can explore together. It's why I made this channel in the first place. It's why I made the program that helped me get out of this. And you can book a free discovery call for it at the link below. It's a one-on-one conversation where we'll look at what your perfectionism has been protecting you from and what it would look like to finally feel safe enough to move forward without it. Because you don't need to keep striving to feel worthy or safe. You just need to understand why your mind learned to fear that imperfection and what happens when that fear finally lets go. And as always, stay in this corner of the internet as long as you need.